All right, y'all, we're back here again, up in the lab, working on the front pipe. We're gonna attempt to do it ourselves. We're gonna try and replace this front pipe. This is the stock one, and we're gonna install the PRL one. We've taken all the safety precautions, but otherwise, here we are, gonna work on this. Once we're done, we're also going to remove the rims. Yes, folks, unfortunately, the rims did not work out for the car. Although I'm not getting too much rubbing, but as you can tell, if I can get this thing to focus, you see there, and I don't want to bend anything. I'm thinking about going with a plus 38 offset, which will work a lot better for the R. Anywho, this is what we're gonna change up. We're gonna change up the stock front pipe for the PRL front pipe. It came actually from the same person who sold me the down pipe and who sold me these charge pipes. Now we still haven't gotten this in. We still are waiting for an intercooler to come through. Moved all the plastic underneath just to give you an idea. It's not too hard. Take your time. There is a ton of clips, but just take your time when removing it. We figured this would be the best shot because it's gonna give us way more access, as you could tell, to where the down pipe screws in, which is right there. And it'll give us a lot more access to here. Just took the extra time to remove everything. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray these bolts here. So we have to take this one off, and this guy off for the front. And then for the back, it's gonna be another 3. Remember, there is a mount bracket here, and another important piece of this whole ordeal is we were told that there's 2 screws right here, as you can see them. There's 1 and 2, and you wanna loosen that because this is a heat shield. You wanna loosen this to give you enough play to be able to move this sucker around and be able to push the down pipe out. Okay, again, these are just little tips and tricks that we got from the guy who installed the down pipe for us. He told us what to do, just to remove those 2 to give us room, and that's what we're gonna start off with. And I'm gonna go ahead and saturate the bolts with PB Blaster to make it a little bit easier for us. See if I can creep up in here. It is tight spaces, so just take your time when trying to remove this. Okay, so we've let this thing soak. We're gonna go ahead and try and remove it. We're gonna use a breaker bar with, what size is it, 11? 14 millimeter, and a breaker bar. Yeah, this. Yeah, fire. There we go. Just make sure you break them first before you start loosening everything up. All right, y'all, we got it. Now, it isn't the easiest thing. Best advice I could give you, loosen up the front, loosen up the back bolts. Then with a pry bar, try and get this off. We got it off the mount that's in here. Let me show you real quick. I have a legit pry bar, but this was good enough. Got it out, no problem. Now, it is a little bit of a bitch to get it out. You do want to twist it. What we did notice is we brought it out first, then we twisted it this way. So we came out this way, which if you're looking at the car is going to be to your left. Twisted it, got the flange to where it was about even to this area here. And once we got it here, then we twisted it now the other way, and it was able to come out lickety split. Just gonna clean up the excess PB Blaster that we used. By the way, this stuff here is money. It's been able to work getting the bolts off the down pipe. It worked getting the bolts off of the exhaust. All right, moment of truth. We're gonna install the PRL front pipe. Remember to take the rubber mount off of the stock one, put it in, and lubed it up from the inside. It slid right out. Same thing, you wanna put a little bit in the hole that it's gonna go back into. That way it doesn't give you any resistance. The trick we got is to install the mount first. So now you have support from the mount, and then you slide it in and you do your deal, bolting back up. We're gonna use some copper gasket sealing for here. I'm trying my best to leave this sucker at the right angle so you guys could see what we're doing here, but it's not easy.
Nope, it isn't.
All right, boys, right here, I'm just gonna let this video run a little bit so you guys can see exactly how we installed the front pipe. It's the same order of operations, except in reverse when you're removing it. But notice how we go counterclockwise to get it in through the flange, in through the heat shield area with some force, and then we start rotating it clockwise to start positioning it over the subframe area and aligning it now with the downpipe and the exhaust. You're also going to want to make sure that the motor mount is facing upwards. That way it allows for proper alignment. Let me show you what we're doing here. We're applying some of this
Copper gasket, exhaust gasket.
Again, I smell every now and then some exhaust leakage in the car. I just want to make sure that we seal any points up nice and good so that way we don't run into any exhaust leaks as we proceed. Check. We're just tinkering around with the gaskets because the guy gave me two different gaskets. This gasket's the PRL supplied one, and he gave me a brand new Vibrant one. We're gonna see which one actually makes a better seal here. We're just gonna end up using the PRL one, and then we're gonna button it up. This will be behind the front pipe. The nut will be on the flange in front. So it sits like this. We're looking at it in this way. Front of the car, back of the car. Okay? So we put one of the bolts in here just to make sure we're getting proper balance. So you go 1, 2, and then 3. As usual, we had a technical difficulty. We were torquing down the gasket and we must have overdone it because we ended up ripping the gasket up in here in this corner over here. We're gonna run the AutoZone, see if we can get a replacement. Otherwise, we'll have to put the project on hold, order from PRL, and have them send it back to us. We'll see what happens. Don't forget the 2 bolts for the heat shield that go right there. There's one, and here's the other one that we were talking about. Once you do all that and you secure everything, we should be golden. So yeah, we're gonna run the AutoZone real quick, try and get a gasket. Hopefully it works. Wish us luck.
Day 3.
All right, y'all, we're back here. Day 2, 3, 4, who knows? Basically, we ran into an issue with the gasket. We had to order it from PRL. Took about 2 days. We went ahead and installed it. I was, doing all kinds of other stuff. We were painting the fence. We were painting the wall. We were doing all kinds of stuff. No, not this wall, but the wall over here on the outside of the courtyard. So we were just handling all kinds of other jazz all day today. I just wanted to get it done. We went underneath the car, tightened everything back up. Again, PRL supplies all the necessary new bolts and hardware. We went ahead and took care of it that route. Check this out. We finally got the downpipe installed into the Type R. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to record it. It just happened out of the blue. I got a call from one of the mechanics I've been talking about getting the downpipe put in. He had an opening. I had to jump on it. It was nighttime. It was around 6 o'clock in the evening when we got it done. So literally didn't have any real time to record it or set up. It was dark. It was outside. But the good news is we're good, baby. We're good. The downpipe is in. Trying to get you guys some good lighting in here. You see it in there? We did use the adapters that it comes with so we could put the stock heat shield on. And like I said, I left all the stock components on there because I wanted it to look as incognito as possible. You never know, you can get a little Irie John Q. Law that wants to, you know, check what's going on down underneath the hood, and went ahead and retuned it with the Flash Pro. I'm really liking the power in it right now. We still need to put in the charge pipes, and we need to put in the intercooler that we ordered from PRL. They're currently on back order, so it's gonna take to the end of this month in order to get it, which again, I'm in no rush. But yeah, super stoked. I wanted to give you guys a heads up. Again, I wasn't able to record it, so I do feel bad that I wasn't able to show you. Super, super important that you have some type of penetrating lubricant. The mechanic used the PB Blaster and it worked to perfection. Literally, we gave the car about 30 minutes, 40 minutes to cool off. He started taking off all the parts around it, gave it a little bit more time. Then he, you know, gave it some really good coats of the PB Blaster, and I can almost say immediately we heard a click. And he was basically, that's already the screw loosening up in there. And yeah, I mean, no issues. I was super nervous. I mean, literally my son and him were telling me if I wanted to go take a walk because I was so nervous. And when I mean nervous, I mean I was nervous. I've heard so many horror stories about bolts breaking, screws stripping out. Again, it was put in on a Saturday. I'm sure there are no machine shops open on a freaking Saturday, let alone Sunday. And luckily this guy was a true professional. Really quick tips that I saw and that he gave me were, when you spray the PB Blaster, give it some time to penetrate. He let it sit there for about a half an hour while he took off more parts, and then he applied constant pressure with a breaker bar. Now again, don't wail into it, but he gave it constant pressure. He made sure that the socket was put in properly, it wasn't at an angle, and when he was applying pressure, he straight up was, if you almost want to say 90 degrees, pulling it perfectly, you know. And as soon as the nut cracked, or didn't crack, but I mean as soon as it broke, made a little click, he then started just slowly doing it. He even sprayed a little bit more PB Blaster in it, give it a little bit more lubricant, and got him off lickety split, no problem. All four came out, and I mean, I was super relieved. The only, I would say, issue we had was taking it out. He had the car jacked up, and he went from the top up. I know some people have done it from the top down. We felt it would have been easier if I would have been removing the front pipe. So he just went up from the bottom up. He came up this way. We did, you know, get a few scratches on here, as you could tell. I think this got some scratches on the inside of it from tugging. Also, the heat shield gets a little bit of damage. Not damage, but I mean just scratches from, you know, being pulled up through here. And everything went flawlessly. So again, just wanted to give you guys a quick update. You have no idea how stoked I am to get this downpipe in the car. I really feel like we're making progress by leaps and bounds. I mean, we've done the intake recently. Now we did the downpipe. We reflashed everything. So everything's looking really, really good. We got the charge pipes waiting in the wings for that intercooler. You know, we're moving along, folks. We're getting it going. So stick around. I really appreciate all the support. I appreciate all the viewers. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe once again, and I'll see you guys on the next one.